Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be diving into the red One Punch Man cards from the new upcoming set in Union Arena. If you guys haven't heard, this set is fully releasing on the 7th of March. Pre-releases, or I guess release events, I should say. Release events are on the 28th of Friday. You can do signups on the TCG Player Plus app right now. Definitely recommend going and doing it. It's going to be an awesome set to release and definitely a good one to get into, especially if you're new. But yeah, taking a look at the red set here, looks like it's going to be based around the monsters, the villains, the anti-heroes of One Punch Man. The main cards that you're going to be building decks around, it looks like, the ones that are the specials are based around, I should say, are going to be Speedo Sound Sonic. He's going to have a raid card as well as a bunch of options to raid on top of and play around, as well as Garou in his own deck. And it looks like you're essentially able to throw a lot of these different monsters in around the characters, and it'll work pretty well. There's also this really interesting new theme that we're seeing in red that we haven't seen in any of the other sets at all. If the combined total of your life and your opponent's life is 4 or less, reduce this card's required energy by 2 while in your hand. So you'll just see that constant theme where you get extra effects, or a buff, I should say, based off of you and your opponent's combined life being 4 or less. Really interesting. But yeah, starting it out here, we'll dive right into it. We've got Speedo Sound Sonic. It's going to be our pretty generic add to hand raid target. 0 energy, 1 action point, 1500, generating 1 energy. And then we're going to have the 3 energy, 1 cost Speedo Sound Sonic. He's going to have step, double energy generator. Active main, once per turn, place 3 cards from your sideline into your removal. If you do, this character gains 1k BP until the end of the turn, so he can become a 4k every time you remove 3 cards from your sideline. And that's going to be a pretty constant theme that you'll see throughout the Speedo Sound Sonic deck. You're essentially trying to keep your sideline at like 3 or less by removing cards constantly, or playing them, or as you'll see from your sideline. And then we got the 2 energy, 1 action point Speedo Sound Sonic. During your turn, if the combined total of your life and your opponent's life is 4 or less, this character gains 1k BP, making him a 4k. So yeah, this is a new thing that we're going to start seeing in the One Punch Man set for the first time. This sort of a effect that applies based off of you and your opponent's combined total life number. Really interesting. But yeah, so he'll become a 4k if you and your opponent's combined total life is 4 or less. And then when played, you may place 3 cards from your sideline into your removal. If you do, draw a card. Pretty good. And then this is going to be your color trigger for red. Definitely one of the worst color triggers in my opinion. But, you know, every once in a while it comes in pretty clutch, and it's pretty annoying to deal with when it does work. But yeah, if it does pop from your life, you get to choose 1 character on your opponent's front line with 2500 or less BP and sideline it. The main issue with that is 2500s are not only super common, like, you don't really see them too often, but on top of that, they're just not super threatening in general. But if you get the chance to remove a body, I'll take it. And then we're going to have the 4 energy, 1 cost Speedo Sound Sonic raid card. This card looks really cool. At the end of this character's attack, if you have 3 or less cards in your sideline, and there are no cards on your opponent's front line with 6 or more base BP, and I haven't seen the text base BP yet, I don't think, in Union Arena, and I believe what that's going to mean is like the printed BP. But yeah, so as long as there's not also a 6 or higher BP on your opponent's front line, after this character is attacked, you can swap him with another Speedo Sound Sonic on your energy line, essentially playing into the decks where you get extra swings during your attack phase, which can be really fun. When played, you may place 3 cards from your sideline into your removal. If you do, draw a card. So yeah, so with a lot of these Speedo Sound Sonics, you're going to be able to remove cards from your sideline and also be able to draw with that, which is honestly a really nice way to play the game. You're going to be able to find your cards faster, hopefully be able to meet these effects with a small sideline. Really cool. And then he's going to have the raid trigger, 4k, 1 energy. And then I really like the look of this Speedo Sound Sonic. He's a 4 energy, 2 action points. So with this card, you're going to want to keep in mind what you're removing from your sideline, because as you can see here, play this card set to active onto your field. When played, play up to 1 red Speedo Sound Sonic card with 2 or less required energy, 1 action point from your hand or sideline set to resting onto your field. So not only do we have the removing cards from our sideline in order to reduce the sideline number, but we can also play cards from our sideline with this character. And I think this card looks amazing. You're playing a body set to active for 2 action points, and not only are you reviving a character from your sideline, but you're also playing it set to resting onto your field as well. So yeah, this is I really like the look of this card. It has an add to hand trigger, so if it's ever in your life, you're still gonna get to play it. 4k BP, 1 energy. Yeah, I really like the look of this guy. And I think all of the Speedo Sound Sonics are going to be 2 or less, minus this 1 raid card. Oh, and then I guess there's this 3 cost here. And then let's see, 0 energy, 1 action point Garou. He's going to have the active trigger, 3k, which we really like. Restand a character on defense, and on top of that, you can also give him an additional 3k for defense until the end of the turn. But yeah, 2k, 1 energy, and we do have a Garou raid, so this is going to be one of your raid targets. Not an add-to-hand trigger, but this is a really good alternative for sure. And then we got the 3 energy, 1 action point Garou. During your turn, this character gains 1k, making him a 4k just all the time on your turn. Double energy generator. There's a... Boom. It's this Garou right here. If anybody's been playing, or if you guys have seen this card anytime in the last few months, it's this card right here. I really like this alt art. You can get that just by going and participating at local events. And then we got the 2 energy, 1 action point Garou. When played, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck into your sideline. This is going to be your color trigger for the Garou deck, 3k, and then he's got the 1 energy. And then this is actually really interesting. So as we saw with the Speedo Sound Sonic, we're trying to keep our sideline at like 3 or less constantly. Garou, on the other hand, is going to be getting effects based off of how many cards you have in your sideline. The complete opposite. So, you know, depending on the playstyle, depending on what you think is going to be more consistent, it's going to be... You can't really mix them too much. I mean, maybe a few of them you can, but in general, they definitely are doing completely different things, which is really cool. But yeah, 3 energy, 1 action point Garou. This guy's going to be a double energy generator, so already a great start there. This character gains all of the abilities listed below based off of the number of cards you have in your sideline, the required number of cards in your sideline. 5 or more, this character gains 500, making him a 3k. 10 or more, he becomes a 3500. 15 or more, he becomes a 4k. And then when played, you may pay 1 action point. If you do, choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line with BP equal to or less than this character's BP and sideline it. So essentially, what you're trying to do is play this card out when you're able to take advantage of this effect. So you play him out when there's only about 5 or so in your sideline. You're only going to be able to remove a 3k. But if it's late game, you can literally play this guy and you're playing a body while sidelining one of their 4Ks. That can be really good. With the double energy generator, draw trigger, definitely a nice card. He's essentially a removal while you play him. That's going to be very strong. See how easy it is to get to 15. But as we already saw with this card, we can put the top 2 cards of our deck into our sideline. So there's that. And then we got the Garou raid card here, 6 energy, 1 action point. This character is going to gain all the below abilities based off of the number of cards on your sideline. 5 or more, when attacking, you get to draw up to 1 card. Damn, that's pretty good. 10 or more, this character gains 500 BP and impact, so he's going to become a printed 4500 with impact. Again, I think the base power is different, but anyways, with 10 or more, the character gains 500 BP and impact, so he's going to be a 4500 with impact, and that'll be on your opponent's turn too, so you can start blocking stuff with him. And then when you're at 15 or more, he's going to become a 5k, and once per turn when this character attacks and is not blocked, switch it to active for a whole nother attack. So what's really cool about that is mixed in with the impact. Essentially what you're saying is, you know, if you don't want to block me, yeah, I get to take 2 lives. But if you want to give me one of your characters, I will just take 1 life. Pretty solid, dude. I really like the look of this Garou. This is going to be annoying to deal with. Yeah, raid trigger, which is always great. 4k BP up to a 5k. Very strong. Again, the big question is how fast can we build up our sideline? I think that there's going to be a difference there. I think this is more of a late game card, obviously. Speedo Sound Sonic, you're going to be able to get stuff as soon as possible, hopefully, with 3 or less. Let's see here. 2 energy, 1 action point, Deep Seeking. If the combined total of your life and your opponent's life is 4 or less, this character gains 1k and Nullify Impact, making him a 3500. Draw trigger, 1 energy. So yeah, I think a lot of these cards are... I don't know if they're made for one deck or the other, but I feel like this is a pretty, like, one of the cards that you can pretty much throw into either one of those decks and it'll do pretty good. And then we got a Taro, I think. 0 energy, 1 action point. Active main, switch to resting, sideline this card, add up to 1 Garou from your sideline to your hand. Ooh, that's pretty good. Since he's just a 0, you just put him in your deck to have be one of your zeros. And then he's just a floating revival for Garou. That's really good. Boros, 0 energy, 1 action point. When played, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. We love that on a 0. Deck filtering and building up our sideline for Garou. Let's go. Love that trigger too. Also, this is easily one of the best villains. That fight at the end of Season 1, oh my gosh. Dominator of the universe. Denominator of the universe. 3 energy, 1 action point. Boros, when played, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards, then sideline 1 card from your hand. 3000 BP, 2 energy generator, no trigger. This is an interesting one. There's a few other cards, maybe one or two others, I think, that also let you take your own life. And I know there's that ability where you have the, you get extra abilities with a combined total of 4 or less life, but like, I don't know if this is worth it to draw 2. I'll probably be proven wrong. You get to build up your sideline, right? But yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I guess with this one card, you do have the opportunity in some situations to, boom, now you're at 15 on your sideline, boom, now you're at 4 or less, all by playing this one card. I mean, that is possible, technically. Interesting. And then we have the Boros raid card here, which does play off of the 4 or less life, so maybe you will want to. All it's going to do, though, is reduce the required energy of this card in your hand by 2. So, yeah, 6 energy, 1 action point, and then he becomes a 4 energy, 1 action point if you and your opponent have a combined total of 4 or less life. Impact, when played, or when rated. When played, this character gains 1,000 BP until the end of the turn, 5k. If the combined total of your life and your opponent's life is 4 or less, you may pay 1 action point. If you do, choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line and sideline. Okay, this is definitely something I could see. Especially because, this is the raid card for Boros. So I guess technically there could be an endgame situation where you do this. So you go from a combined total of 5 to a combined total of 4. Hit him with the raid. Get to pop one of his characters for an extra action point. That is definitely interesting for sure. That could be a nice surprise. Add to hand trigger, so you cannot play this guy from life off of a raid, but still, you get to add him to your hand, so not bad. I mean, it's the raid card, so yeah, pretty good. Again, this seems like a late game surprise that is just like, okay, dude. And we got with 0 energy, 1 action point, Garou. You're going to start seeing this monster association affinity a lot more from here. When played, look at the top card of your deck, then place it on the top of your deck or into your sideline. No trigger, 2 KBP, 1 energy generator. Yeah, not a bad card. I mean, definitely not terrible at all for 0 just to have him, and then you're filtering your deck a little bit, building up your sideline as well. We always like that if you're playing Garou. Well, I think the Union Arena website literally crashed mid-reading these cards, but shout out to EXburst. They have us covered, so we are just going to switch websites here. Oh, that's so funny. Dude, what are the odds? I think everything else is working. I mean, we're on EXburst. We are going to be switching to this to finish off the red set. If you guys like reading the cards off of EXburst more for some reason, let me know. I think I like the layout of the other one better, but I will admit, shout out to EXburst. This is my favorite site to build decks. I build it for Tabletop Simulator. Check out my video on how to play Union Arena online. It's all about EXburst and Tabletop Sim. But yeah, shout out to EXburst. They got us covered. Alright, so 2 energy, 1 action point, Hellfire, Flame, Monster Association. This is going to be our generic card where when he's set to active, he's going to count as 2 energy generated instead of 1. 2,500. Cool. And then we've got Goketsu, 3 energy, 1 action point. This character is going to cost 1 less from your hand instead of a 2 cost if you're playing against a yellow or a green. 3 KBP, 2 energy generator. And then we got the 1 energy, 1 action point, Tempest Wind. When played, return 1 other character on your field with 1 or less to your hand. If you can't, return this character. Again, these are all pretty generic staples that you'll see in every Union Arena set. Super S, Jesus. Active main, switch to resting. This character is going to count as 2 energy generated instead of 1 for the turn, and then you have to sideline it during your main phase or at the end of your main phase. Super S, 4 energy, 1 action point. When played, choose one of the following. Draw a card, or choose 2 characters with 2k or less BP whose BP are the same on your opponent's front line and sideline them. If there's... we haven't finished looking through Red. If there's cards that can reduce 4Ks to 2Ks consistently, that would be so broken. Bring 2 4s down to 2Ks and then wipe them both with this Super S. That would be crazy. But yeah, draw trigger, 3K BP, 1 energy generated. And then we've got Phoenix Man, 1 energy, 1 action point. When played, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Garou or a Monster Association affinity card among them, add it to your hand, place the remaining cards into the bottom of your deck in any order, and then sideline a card if you did take 1. Draw trigger 1500. I mean, this could be really good. Again, anything, these are generic things that you'll see in a lot of Union Arena sets where you search, sideline a card if you did take 1. But when we're trying to build up our sideline, these cards just get even better, So that's not bad. That's not bad. I like it. I mean, it works with the Garou deck, right? And then we got 4 energy, 1 action point, Centicorro. If on the front line, the number of cards you can place onto your front line is reduced by 1. So you can only have 3 characters on the front line if you have him. Or if you have 2 of them, you can only have these 2. If you have 15 or more cards in your sideline, this character is going to gain damage too. So he'll definitely play well into the Garou deck, it looks like. Maybe, I mean, I assume that's probably what you want to do. Garou with the Monster Association from the looks of it. And then he's going to have the active trigger. He's got a printed 4500, so that's essentially why he's going to have this ability here, because for 4 energy, you're playing a 4500. You're able to block a lot of 4Ks, which is, again, pretty common power level that you see in this game. So if you spammed these on your front line, that would be so annoying. But still, very good card. I like that. 0 energy, 1 action point. Armored Gorilla, House of Evolution, Nullify Impact. He's got the 2k BP, no trigger. Not terrible. I mean, again, Impact Nullify stonks are just through the roof right now because of how much Impact is around, especially with Saitama, so... and then we have 4 energy, 1 action point, Carnage Kabuto. Dude, this is one of the funniest episodes in One Punch Man. Oh, it's so legendary, bro, the end of the fight. And then let's see here. Active main, place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. Once per turn, you can only activate this ability if your combined total of life and your opponent's life is 4 or less. This character is going to gain impact until the end of the turn. Okay, that could be really strong, especially if, you know, if your opponent is literally down to like 2 or 3 life or something, or 1 life, then boom, you're getting an impact by trashing a card. That's really strong. I like it, I like it. He's got the active trigger, which is always really good, and then the 4k BP. Very nice, very nice. Dr. Genis. 2 energy, 1 action point, House of Evolution. When played, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand. Okay. If you do, play up to 1 red card with the fulfilled required energy, 1 action point, and House of Evolution set to resting onto your field. Oh, I thought it was going to be set to active. That's a big cost to play a card. I don't know about taking a whole life. You'd have to be, like, really pressuring your opponent, and, like... you know, you're so ahead on life that you might as well just do it and help yourself out. Because you do, the one silver lining to this taking a life is you get to add it to your hand, so it's not like you just lose the card. 3 energy, 1 action point, the Beast King, House of Evolution. During your turn, this character gains 500, so he's a 35 up to a 4k on your turns. Alright, pretty generic. Mosquito Girl, House of Evolution, 1 energy, 1 action point. When played, choose up to 1 character on your field. It gains 1,000 BP until the end of the turn. Alright, that's not bad at all. Active main, once per turn, you may add 1 card from your life area to your hand. If you do, this character gains 2,500 until the end of the turn. Yeah, these abilities where you're taking a life, I'm sure you're only doing this because you're pretty sure you're going to win this turn, and you might as well just do it. Or if you don't do it, you're going to lose. Like, yeah, that's a big cost to... I mean, you get a 4K. She becomes a 4K, so at least this is a little bit more crazy than playing a card for free. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to hate on Dr. Genis over here, but in general, taking a whole life, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Draw a card for a trigger, and then 1,500 BP up to a 4K like we were saying. 1 energy generator. I mean, at the end of the day, what's cool about cards like this, since it's only a 1 cost, if you don't have any 1s in your deck and you just need something to throw in there, this could be a good one. Because, you know, you're going to want 1s just to help with your ramp to make sure that you're actually able to play cards. And if this is one that just, you know, you really just use her for the 1 plate effect and you have a draw trigger out of it, that's totally fine. If this ever comes in clutch, that's cool. So yeah, not a terrible card. And then we've got the Monster Association Site. So it's a 3 energy, 1 action point, active main, switch to resting, place the top card of your deck into your sideline. And then active main, switch to resting, sideline this card, place 1 Garou or Monster Association affinity card from your sideline onto the top of your deck. Really interesting. Okay, so every turn you can essentially mill 1 card, which is going to be really good for Garou. That's not bad at all, especially because it's a double energy generator. I might throw 1 or 2 of these in there for Garou. A free sideline buildup every single turn. I think this is going to be a pretty good card. I see a lot of value in this. The only thing is I don't know if I'm doing 4 sites, because if you get too many of them, I mean, they're Garou revives, though. This is a pretty good card, isn't it? And then we have 3 energy, 1 action point, Monster Cells. This is going to be your final card for red. Choose 2 action points, set them to active. And then we have the Hero Almanac, 3 energy, 1 action point. Draw a card, then you may place 1 character from your hand into your sideline. If you do, choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line with base BP equal to the BP of the card you place into your sideline with this ability. The character on your opponent's front line that you selected is going to gain this character must block your opponent's attacks if abled until the end of the turn. So essentially, you're trashing a card from your hand. you're choosing one of your opponent's characters, and I'm assuming in most situations you're setting them up to have to be killed that turn, because there's no way you're going to select a character that's just going to block you anyways and live, right? But yeah, you also get a draw off of it, draw trigger. Not a terrible card, not a terrible card. If you know you're getting a free KO that turn, that's pretty good. And then let's see, 4 energy, 1 action point, Wind Blade Leg. This is going to be your special for the Speedo Sound Sonic deck. Pretty generic, just the usual choose a character with 3k or less and sideline it from your opponent's front line. But if you have Speedo Sound Sonic, you can select a 5k. Again, not bad at all, just nothing special. And then we have the 5 energy, 2 action point special for Garou. This card looks sick. Fist of Flowing Water Crushing Rock. So if Garou's on your field, reduce the cost of this by 1, so it becomes a 5 energy, 1 action point. Choose one character on your opponent's front line. If it's a 5k or less, and sideline it no matter what, whether you have Garou or not. But choose up to 1 Garou on your field when you play this card. It gains, if your opponent sidelines this character with a special ability, they add the card with the special ability to their hand instead until the end of the turn. So what that means basically is your Garou, when you play this, you go into your attack phase with your Garous being, or the Garou you select, being 100% safe from special triggers. That's pretty solid, because as we know with Garou, we are trying to get to a point in the game where when this character attacks and is not blocked, so we get to switch it to active. We're trying to take at least 2 lives with him every time, right? So it would suck to hit a special off of that. But with our special, not only are we removing one of your characters, but our Garou is 100% safe from special triggers. That's pretty good. Sure, you're giving it to your opponent, but I mean, in general, it was going to kill for free anyways, so yeah, I love the look of this special. See what I mean by generic? You'll see, you know, nothing special, nothing new versus, there's a big difference there. But again, this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. But anyways, yeah, very good special trigger. I'd say this is one of the best ones we've seen in a while. I don't know if I like Nanami's bottom decking instead of sidelining cards better, but this is really good. You're safe from special triggers because you specialed one of their characters. Wow. And then we have 2 energy. Oh yeah, and then I mentioned this in the other videos, but these two cards over here at the end are usually, because in Japan set they have them as separate like promo cards. But normally in the English sets, instead of doing that, what they do is they just add them to the main sets. But they're just like, they have different ID numbers, which is why they're over here instead of with their characters. So for anyone wondering, we do have 2 more cards to look at, Speedo Sound Sonic and a Garou. But yeah, these should just be normal cards in the base set. So, 2 energy, 1 action point, Speedo Sound Sonic. When played, draw a card, then place a card from your hand into your sideline. Beautiful. Active main, once per turn, place 3 cards from your sideline to your removal. If you do, this character becomes a 4k until the end of your turn. So yeah, not bad. 3k up to a 4k. And, you know, these when played effects are going to be really good, because you're hopefully bringing some Speedo Sound Sonics back onto the field and getting more advantage of their when played effects again with that guy. And then the last card of Red, boys. Thank you so much for sticking around. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully these breakdowns help you. But let's get into it. The final card of Red, 4 energy, 1 action point, Garou. This character gains all the abilities listed below if you have the required number of cards in your sideline. 5 or more, look at the top card of your deck, then place it on the top of your deck or sideline it when attacking. That's pretty good just by hitting the 5. Getting a deck filter like instantly when attacking, I like that. 10 or more, he's going to get Nullify Impact, and then if you get 15 or more, he's going to be a damage 2. I love the pressure with Garou. Once you hit 10, start creeping up to 15 in your sideline, ooh, Garou's going to be scary, dude. He's going to be doing a lot. And then he's got the amazing active trigger, 4k BP, 1 energy generated. Yeah, this is, needless to say, a very good looking card, especially because the first ability, I'd say, is arguably one of the best here. Right when you hit 5, you can start looking at the top of your deck and keeping it there or trashing it. That's so good. But yeah, that's basically it, boys. That is the entire Red Union Arena set. Here, I'm curious, is it still broken? Oh no, they ended up fixing it, of course. Well, hey, well, listen, we got a quick little EXburst plug in there. But yeah, this is it, boys, the Red One Punch Man set. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Red. I don't know if I want to build Garou or Speedo Sound Sonic more first. I really like the look of this Speedo Sound Sonic more than any of them. I think this card's going to be so strong. But Garou looks so good too. And one of my favorite characters just in general out of all these was Boros, obviously. He's such a sick character. That fight was awesome. So yeah, hopefully we get some good pulls at the release events. Hopefully we do have some decks we can build right away. Let me know any card combinations you're excited about. Let me know any decks you're excited to build. If you guys want to check out my other color breakdowns, I should have the starter deck as well as the green and yellow One Punch Man breakdowns as well. Should all be up. So thanks again for all the support. Y'all are amazing. We're going to start dropping some deck breakdowns, hopefully. Going to start doing some deck building, experimenting with some cards. And yeah, I'm so excited for One Punch Man. Good luck at your release events. Good luck on your pulls. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.